students, today we will start our 6th chapter of history, kingdoms, kings and an early republic. So let's start. Around 3000 years ago, we find some changes taking place in the ways in which Rajas were chosen. Some men now became recognized as Rajas by performing very big sacrifices. The Ashmaved or horse sacrifice was one of the such rituals. अश्वमेध और हॉर्स सेक्रीफाइस में एक घोड़े को राजा के लोगों की देखरेख में फ्रीली छोड़ दिया जाता था। इस घोड़े को किसी दूसरे राजा ने रोका तो उसे वहां अश्वमेध यज्ञ कराने वाले राजा से लड़ाई करनी पड़ती थी। अगर उन्होंने घोड़े को जाने दिया तो इसका मतलब यह होता था कि अश्वमेध यज्ञ कराने वाला राजा उनसे ज्यादा पावरफुल होता था। इसके बाद उन राजाओं को यज्ञ में आमंत्रित किया जाता था। यह यज्ञ ट्रेन प्रीस्ट द्वारा किया जाता था। इसके लिए उन्हें गिफ्ट भी दिए जाते थे। अश्वमेध यज्ञ कराने वाला राजा बहुत शक्तिशाली माना जाता था। यज्ञ में इनवाइटेड सभी राजा उनके लिए गिफ्ट लाते थे। इन सभी आयोजनों में राजा का मुख्य स्थान होता था। राजा के रिलेटिव्स, खासकर कि उनकी रानियां तथा पुत्रों को भी कई छोटे छोटे रिचुअल्स करने होते थे। अन्य सारे आमंत्रित राजाओं का काम सिर्फ बैठकर यज्ञ की पूरी प्रोसेस को देखना होता था। राजा के ऊपर पुरोहित पवित्र जल के छिड़काव के साथ साथ और भी बहुत सारे रिचुअल्स करते थे और इस तरह से उस टाइम पे राजा का चुनाव होता था। Our next topic is Varnas. There were several different groups in society at this time. The priest divided people into 4 groups called Varnas. So let's start with the first group. The first Varn was that of the Brahmins. Brahmins were expected to study and teach the Veds, perform sacrifices and receive gifts. In the second place were the rulers, also known as Kshatriyas. They were expected to fight battles and protect people. Third were the Vaishyas. They were expected to be farmers, herders and traders. Both the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas could perform sacrifices. And the last group were the Sudras, who had to serve the other 3 groups and could not perform any rituals. Often, women were also grouped with the Sudras. Both women and Sudras were not allowed to study the Ved. Our next topic is Janpad. The Rajas who performed big sacrifices were now recognized as being Rajas of Janpads rather than the Jan. Jan means the common people. The word Janpad literally means the land where the Jan set its foot and settled down. Some important Janpads are shown on map 4. You can see there. Archaeologists have excavated a number of settlements in these Janpads, such as Purana Kila in Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut, etc. They found that people lived in huts and kept cattle as well as other animals. They also grew a variety of crops such as rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, etc. One special type of pottery found at these sites is known as painted grey ware. As it obvious from its name, these grey pots had painted designs, usually simple lines and geometric patterns. Now we will discuss about Mahajanpad. About 2500 years ago, some Janpads become more important than others and were known as Mahajanpads. Some of these were shown on map 4. You can see there. Most Mahajanpad had a capital city. Many of these were fortified. Fortified means kilaband. This means that huge walls of wood, brick or stone were built around them. Now we will see why fortified were important at that time. Forts were probably built because people were afraid of attacks from the other kings and needed protection. It is also likely that some rulers wanted to show how rich and powerful they were by building really large, tall and impressive walls around their cities. Now we will discuss about taxes. Rulers imposed many taxes on different peoples. Let's start with the first point. Taxes on the crops were the most important. So this was because of the most people were farmers. Second, there were taxes on crafts person as well. These could have been in the form of labor. The third, the herders were also expected to pay taxes in the form of animals and animal produce. The fourth one is there were also taxes on goods that were brought and sold through trade. And the last point is, and hunters and gatherers also had to provide forest produce to the Raja. Now we will discuss about the changes in agriculture. There are two major changes in the agriculture. The first one is growing use of iron plowshare. This means that the heavy clayey soil could be turned over better than with a wooden plowshare, so that more grain could be produced. Second, people began transplanting paddy. This means that instead of scatting seed on the ground from which plants would sprout, saplings were grown and then planted in the field. This led to increased production. However, it was back-breaking work. Slave men and women, means dasas and dasis, and landless agriculture laborers, which is known as Kamakaras, had to do this work, means agriculture works. Now we will discuss about Magad. Magad became the most important Mahajanpad in about 200 years. Many rivers such as the Ganga and the Son flowed through the Magad. This was important for transport, water supply, and making the land more fertile. Parts of Magad were forested. Besides, there were iron ore mines in the region that could be tapped to make strong tools and weapons. Magad had two very powerful rulers, Bimbisar and Ajasattu, who used all possible means to conquer other Janpads. Mahapadma Nanda was another important ruler. He extended his control up to the northwest part of subcontinent. Rajagira, the present day, it is Rajgir in Bihar, was the capital of Magad for several years. Later the capital was shifted to Patliputra, present day Patna. It is located in Patna now. More than 2300 years ago, a ruler named Alexander, who lived in Macedonia in Europe, wanted to become a world conqueror. Of course, he didn't conquer the world, but did conquer the parts of Egypt and the West Asia and came to the Indian subcontinent. Now we will discuss about Vaji. While Magad became a powerful kingdom, Vaji, with its capital at Vaishali, which is in Bihar, was under a different form of government known as Gan or Sangh. In a Gan or a Sangh, there were not one but many rulers. Sometimes, even when thousands of men ruled together, each one was known as Raja. These Rajas performed rituals together. They also met in assemblies and decided what had to be done and how, through discussions and debate. However, women's dasas and kamakaras could not participate in these assemblies. Thank you.